welcome to have a mask and leave a window open. You can take from that basket there, you can help yourself to a cushion. It's nice to see you. So welcome, dear friends, to this Sunday morning meditation with Dhamma-Dharini Sangha here in Northern California. I'm giving a special acknowledgement that it seems that Dhammanusari Bhikkhuni and Metajivi Bhikkhuni are present with us, although they're not yet having their camera turned on. But it's always something that makes me happy and humble when I know that some venerable colleagues are here together with all of the regular group of the students who've been joining us. Spring is coming, and it's getting a little bit warmer and nicer, easier for us to sometimes be meeting outside at the Dana Sala at our monastery, even though this morning we are indoors. Dhamma-Dharini is able to welcome visitors to come, especially for these Sunday programs. The 9 a.m. program, the 11 a.m. sharing of the meal dana, and the 1 p.m. Sutta study program. So it's possible to spend a longer amount of time together. This is the full moon day today. I'd say the new moon day today, which is a fortnight away from the full moon of the Vesak. The Vesak full moon, which is going to be celebrated at our community on Saturday, May 11, in a program that will be live and in person only, not on Zoom. So if you live around, you could come over on the Saturday for that program on May 11. In the meantime, this was a day when the Bodhisattva, having practiced extreme austerities in his quest for awakening, had a memory come up for him of when he had been a child at the plowing ceremony, where the family and the whole town or the whole city.
Not hearing you.
Not hearing me.
I hear you fine.
Yes?
I hear you fine.
Okay, so
As do I.
I hear fine.
the person who's not hearing may try something on their side. I changed the battery, so I think the sound should be okay on my side. I was speaking about the Bodhisattva's memory of as a child during the plowing ceremony, sitting alone under the rose apple tree at a little distance from all of the other activities, and spontaneously entering into the deep meditation of the first jhana, being secluded from any negative states of mind. It said that he was so still that he was able to stay there in meditation for many hours, and the sun and the tree arranged themselves so that the shade of the tree protected him continuously for the whole day. So he didn't have to get uncomfortable by being burning under the hot sun. So that was kind of like the miracle that the legend gives. There's a difference between the sense pleasure of satisfying our appetites and satisfying our materialistic needs, satisfying our social needs, and a completely different kind of happiness, which is not part of that realm of sensuality. It's a realm that is not concerned about survival, not concerned about status, not concerned about getting ahead, not concerned about gaining something, not concerned about keeping something, but rather the pure happiness of freedom. Many teachers these days are giving encouragement that if you are not able to come to jhana meditation, that full samadhi, or if you had it once during a retreat, but you're not able to consistently go sit down and enter into samadhi, don't make that a problem. Don't let the craving to achieve some kind of a level that you think is what you're supposed to do prevent you from having the pure happiness of taking a brief respite from all the kinds of mental negativities, including the striving and the wanting and the reaching and getting and keeping, and getting rid of the negative things, and wanting to be anything different than what it is right now. Instead, just to be happy, pleased, content with what we have in the mind right now and right here, and taking this time of meditation in which there's nothing to do, nothing to gain, nothing to achieve, but simply resting in that peaceful tranquility. We spoke earlier with Bhikkhu Brahmali, and happened to ask this very question to him. And what he emphasized is that making an effort and striving is something that's good to do in the realm of your morality, in the realm of sila, in the realm of keeping precepts, in the realm of if the mind is overtaken by greed or overtaken by aversion or hatred or any other kind of harmful, unskillful kind of intentions, the kind of things that would lead you to unskillful and harmful, unvirtuous actions. There you can strive. So make the effort, protect the mind, strive for purification in that way. So the effort leads to protection in that way. But then when it comes to meditation, just relax and let go of any kind of grasping. there's a social aspect to virtue, which involves not harming oneself and not harming anybody else, not expecting harm from anybody else, and having the confidence or the trust that all beings have the desire to happiness, and that this inclination towards real happiness, true happiness, is a universal thing. All beings possess that. So we have it together. It's not just your own personal individual happiness or your individual spiritual success. Instead, it's something that transcends the individual, which is shared with others. So in this way, the loving kindness practice is very much tied together with morality and with creating the kind of lightness in the mind that can naturally unfold into samadhi, into tranquil meditation. I can remember in 1983, there was one occasion where the polarization and social divisions of my hometown were released, and the entire city was united in happiness. It didn't matter what corner of the city you came from, who you were, what kind of person you were, whether you were rich or poor, whether you were a criminal or a saint. Everybody was happy together. Don't laugh at me. It was the day the Redskins won the Super Bowl. And for the first time in like 20 years, my hometown of Washington, D.C. had won that particular race, and there was some group of the players, I forget what their position was, but they were not as big as the other ones, and they were called the Smurfs. So anyway, I just remember being around the town, around the city, and feeling that it's not that I favor team sports or all of the analogies to war and conquest and everything else that comes with team sports, but I'm just saying that it happened for a minute that the city forgot to be unhappy. They forgot to be miserable. They forgot to be hateful. They forgot to be negative. They forgot to be competitive. They just happy together. And so for those who are finding the Buddhist community as being your real home, if you have fellowship and companionship with Buddhists, the coming up of Vesak in 2 weeks is also, it's kind of like a day like that. So we can forget about our negative states of mind and let that ordinary feeling of happiness make it possible to be still, to be calm, to recognize seclusion from negative mind states, and to simply rest in awareness of that freedom and that seclusion. And that will be not a technical meditation achievement to gain, but it would be a natural samadhi, natural tranquility, natural meditation. So having rambled on with the discourse of chitter and chattering, Now we can be more quiet and come to a upright and balanced posture for meditation. Setting up the intention for our own true happiness and welfare, and for the welfare and happiness of all beings, inside and outside, to all as to myself, letting true happiness pervade the whole world. Just for this little while, letting the mind be in a pure, harmless state. Aware of the physical body. And relaxing the physical body. If the mind is still a little bit restless, letting the loving kindness thought help to bring the mind to the right spot. Every few minutes, or every minute, remembering true, pure happiness, peace, freedom from greed, freedom from hatred. Inside and outside, everywhere. Or if the loving kindness practice is too much activity and we want more stillness, then simply settling awareness on the breath, letting awareness rest on the breath, the rise and fall of the breath. And coming near the end, returning to the object of meditation, making it more bright, whether it's the breath today or the thought of kindness, making that more bright. Letting the thought of kindness, our awareness of breath, letting the object be very bright, expanding, filling the whole space of awareness, so there's only light. I welcome any comments or questions about this meditation or your report about what it's like when aiming for that tranquil happiness in meditation and how we can manage it well and still be relaxed, even if the mind is not necessarily going right into that space of tranquility. But if there's a lot of distractions or various thoughts and other things that keep coming in during the meditation, how to make both kinds of meditation good, to be relaxed, calm, and bright, whatever is coming up in the meditation, and also how to let go of striving and just rest in tranquil awareness. I see a hand up already from Chintana.
Thank you, Ayya. What I noticed was in sending metta around me, I wanted to push forces against each other from me, front and back, but that isn't how we do it. So I sent it forward, and then I went to the left, thinking that was the way we went. And then I thought, no, I have to go clockwise. So, and any comment on that, I'd appreciate. Thank you.
Well, what I have heard about the metta practice very often is sending in front and then clockwise, and then in all directions. Then I read in an article somewhere that when they do the meditation in all directions, in the ancient time, it was the points of the compass. So they used to think that there was like one God who was the ruler of the south, one God ruling the east, one God ruling the north, one God ruling the west. And so in a certain way, because this is a Brahma, it's a divine abiding, it's like bringing themselves into unity with different corners of the great world. And then from the 4 directions, it can become the 8 directions, and then the above and below, and it becomes 10 directions. And then it becomes all the directions. Fortunately, it only took you 1/10 of a millisecond to have those small judgmental thoughts about, oh, I'm doing it the wrong way, I should do it a different way. And so that it didn't need to persist and cause a disturbance in the meditation. Doing a methodical meditation is very helpful to stabilize the mind if the mind has been quite activated. If you've got a lot of things on your to-do list and you have a lot of different people to interact with, and so then there's a lot going on and it's like difficult to come to stillness, then going through a methodical meditation procedure is just because it's hard for the mind to go from a lot to nothing. So to come from a lot to something that's much more simplified, and then the mind still has got something to anchor onto in terms of the different directions, the different kinds of people, the in-breath or the out-breath, and length of the breath, relaxing the breath. And then in the breath meditation, if you know the whole list of the ways of being aware of the Vedana, and aware of the mental formations, and aware of the Dhammas. So one can use those structures to help the mind to be stabilized. Open awareness in which there's not any procedure being followed, but one is just relaxing and seeing, even not even attached to the breath or to the thought of kindness, but just having open awareness and seeing what arises can also be a very good procedure, which is not a procedure, and that can be first of all a very subtle and a wonderful, still kind of meditation. If the mind is able to go to stillness, that's like the most subtle, because the procedure is like too much of a burden. You don't want the procedure. So if you just put it down and just go to open awareness, and then in a certain way, I've heard them say, with the different like labeling and the different steps, going through this step and that step in meditation, why do you train the mind in that much activity when then you just want to let it go afterwards to allow the mind to be still? But it is so, there was one of the ways of meditation is counting the breath. You count from, breathe in 1, breathe out 1, breathe in 2, breathe out 2. And you go in that way you go from 1 to 5, and then go from 5 to 1 or something like that. And if you lose track of the counting, then you go back to 1 again. There was one student who only heard part of the instruction, so she was doing counting meditation, and she was able to count up to like 10,000. Or else to really develop concentration, they say count breath from 1 to 9, from 1 to 10, 10 to 1, 1 to 9, 9 to 1, 1 to 8, 8 to 1, 1 to 7, 7 to 1, 1 to 6, 6 to 1, 1 to 2, and down until it's like 1 to 1, 1 to 1, and then go in the ascending order. And all of that is taking a lot of concentration on an object which is basically, it doesn't have any color to it, as being it's not pleasant and not unpleasant, just one. Is that two? Is that pleasant or unpleasant? Who knows? Unless a very special person might find different numbers to be more or less enjoyable than other numbers. So do meditation according to a fixed procedure to help learn how to cause the mind to do what you want it to do. It's a very beneficial practice. If you've never been able to sit down and spend to 30, 40 an hour without the mind wandering, then forcing yourself to go through a fixed procedure like that and stay on it for a whole long length of time is a way of causing the mind to stop its resistance to just staying with the meditation. But then afterwards, you want to let that go and let go of the procedures. Thank you very much. It's lovely to see you this morning.
Good morning. I wanted to ask one more question. You mentioned a procedure that included Vedana, something, and then Dhamma. And I was wondering what that was, a procedure for meditation.
In the breath meditation, there's 16 parts. And the last group of 4 is meditating, watching the in-breath, aware of impermanence.
Okay.
And then aware
I'll look
of
into that.
letting go.
All right.
Aware of cessation, like that. So those are the Dhamma that can be seen within the breath meditation. Okay. I'll call on Maggie.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I
had
am.
trouble hearing in this Zoom session. Anyway, I've been reading the In the Words of the Buddha, the book, and they refer several times to volitional formations. And I even looked it up, volitional formations, and kind of contemplated on what that might mean. I still don't fully understand what they're referring to, volitional formations. Can you
Okay, I can
comment
explain
more
that.
on that?
Yes. Within the 5 aggregates of clinging, they speak about material form, feelings, perceptions, volitional formations, and consciousness. Volitional formations in the Pali is sankhara, sometimes called mental formations. In that context, you could think about these are different aspects of what we can experience that a human being has. You can think of it in sequence the way when a person is born, when they're an embryo, they acquire a material body, and then the material growth begins to happen of the physical body. And then even while that fetus or that being is still inside the womb, they still could experience feeling. And so the feeling is, pleasant or unpleasant. So what's pleasant, you like it, you relax, you like to keep it. Okay, what's unpleasant, push away. Something, that aversive like that. Just that much feeling. And then what's neutral, you can go either way. Then after the baby is born, gradually the senses are trained. And I think that the newborn is slowly able to distinguish different things with their perception. Like they can distinguish, oh, that's mommy, that's daddy. And that they can recognize those faces and those voices and those important kind of objects. So that's what perception is the mental ability to be able to recognize things. Then as this baby is growing up, comes to a moment when they're able to distinguish what they want. Like, I want food, or I want sleep, or I want a toy, or I want something. So it's something that has to do with like and when we acquired our existence as a human, we acquired these capacities. So, or you could think as a grown-up person, if you forgot to eat over a certain period of time, then there would be something going on physically in the body, like your blood sugar is going down because you haven't eaten for a certain number of hours. So there's certain changes happening in the material body, that's the form. And then there's some kind of a unpleasant feeling connected to that could come along. Or sometimes the unpleasant feeling is caused by the clock, just because it's like lunchtime or dinner time. Because of habit, you start to feel hungry because of conditioning, and so there's that feeling that comes along, but you've not yet recognized it as hunger. It's just a feeling, and any particular feeling, there's a 1,000 of different labels you could put on it. It might be hunger, it might be boredom, it might be illness, it might be love. You can't really tell like how the feeling gets, or how the condition gets like recognized. But then it could be that then there's like a recognition of being hungry, or else you smell the breakfast or the lunch coming along and you recognize that as food, as being something, and then just right from there, when you recognize what it is, almost simultaneously you know what you want to do about it. So if you're hungry and you recognize food, then you want to have some. Or if you're full and you recognize food, then you don't want to have it. So it's that something that, it could come up, it could be like noticeable as separate, like a moment in the continuum of the process, that when there's that kind of clarity, what to do about it, what should I do? And then the consciousness, or that's being able to cognize, especially being able to cognize these other four things. So that little, coming back to my first example, that infant or that little child, at some point, that child is able to cognize my body, my feeling, my perception, my wishes and wants, and able to recognize these things, which is part of my own inner process. So, like, it's very similar to how a certain, some kind of, some animals, if you put a mirror in the forest, some animals are able to recognize themselves. And when they come across a mirror, it's like, wow, that's amazing, look at that. So it's the same kind of, that consciousness is the same thing, that at an ordinary level, you can recognize who it is in the mirror as being your own self. And you also recognize the internal process of the mind and body as something that belongs to you. So then the sankhara is intention. A very bad, sort of a negative way, it's not bad, but a negative way of noticing intention. When I'm doing meditation, if the mind won't stay on the meditation subject and keeps running away to worrying about problems or something, then I acknowledge to myself the mind is running around because it wants to. There's an intention. I want to worry about my problems more than I want to stay on meditation. But then an opposite thing that is more subtle that people don't notice that much is if you start a meditation and you're able to stay in the meditation, it's because this mind is happy to stay with the meditation. So you came to meditation and you wanted to stay in meditation. And because you want to, because you have that determination, then to a certain extent you're able to stay. And just recognizing. So this is like it's a practice of vipassana or mindfulness, to be able to notice those phenomena of the body-mind as it's happening in daily life and as it's happening in meditation. So when you decide to do something, notice that clearly. Even notice, like, how does it feel when you decide to do something? What are your perceptions when you decide to do something? What's changing in the body when you decide to do something? And that kind of a study can help you to get a clear ability to recognize sankharas, or volitional formations. When a person is clinging to their volitional formations and identifying with them as saying, being this is myself, this is me, this is mine, this is myself, that I have like some kind of like an eternal essence, my life, my existence, and I've got it all like tied up with those phenomena. So like if you feel a certain way, and I come back and say, you don't feel that way. You just think you feel that way, but you don't really feel that way. A person could be really like insulted and hurt and upset because they say, these are my feelings. I know my feelings. Who are you to say that's not my feeling? Because then your ownership, your sense about your ownership of your feeling has sprung up for you and caused a reaction which is causing the self to become more rigid and more egocentric and more filled with dukkha, filled with trouble. And so one can just examine these sets in order to just have the mind trained to be able to notice its own process, to know what's going on, and also to notice the danger in clinging to those things. So I can talk about the aggregates all for 7 years. I could talk about the aggregates, but that's enough for this morning.
It's not as simple though as I'm hungry, I'll have an egg. You think I'll have an egg for breakfast. That's not a volitional formation.
That's a volitional formation.
That is.
Yes, you decided to have an egg, and you will have one. You shall have one because you decided. If you were not able to make a decision, you wouldn't be able to get breakfast. So, we kind of like need to have these faculties. Okay?
Yes. Thank you.
So you got to see the benefit of being able to be decisive and make a decision, and also see the danger that if you get obsessed and clinging and identifying and protecting your decisions, then that could cause you to suffer. So it's got both a benefit and a danger.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right. Okay, I'm going to let Amber be the last person to speak.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. I know we're at the end. You guys were mentioning directions and just some evolution or that's happened in my practice. It's just very simple of just picturing the heart or the heart chakra or the energy in the heart. And then if I'm trying to manifest, love or forgiveness or compassion, it just comes out like kind of like ripples out from the heart area, like a wave, and it just goes forward. And then if you're looking forward, like you picture the earth and it just rolls forward over all beings all the way around the whole entire world, but then it comes back over you. So you start to bring it to all beings and it goes, and maybe I should include the whole universe. Maybe I'm shorting it a little bit to keep it to earth, but doing the earth, but then it comes back around over you so that you can be well to keep sending it out. And then before you opened up to questions or comments, I can't remember how you worded the question, but it's something having to do with your practice or your focus. But amidst some question involving amidst many distractions and your mind doesn't want to focus and I was just thinking that happens, a lot sometimes in this class for me, because I've had some caffeine before, as was mentioned, we've discussed before, but somehow it's okay because, okay, maybe there's focus and that there's something in the class that, you're wanting to focus, but you're not, and it's just distractions and your mind does not want to focus. And the way I'm finding solace is I know I'm still in the practice. Maybe like you said, you're not on a solid pinpoint. Maybe you're at an open mindfulness and you're not in a structure. So that part's okay. So that brings me solace that it's not focused and maybe it's an open mindfulness. But also, even if it's not mindful at all. The mind's going, I'm hearing the stuff around me and it's a little too busy. I find solace because I know I'm still in the practice and I'm still doing it and I'm still on the path. So that's all I want to share. Thank you.
You're muted, Ayya.
Thank you. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.
Thank you, Ayya. And
Thank
that
you,
was
Ayya.
great. That was
See
great,
you later.
Amber.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Sadhu, sadhu,